Let's talk about the central root of persuasion according to the elaboration likelihood model. The central root of persuasion requires two different elements in order for a recipient of a message to travel on the central route. First, there needs to be sufficient information within the message. And second, the recipient needs to be willing to engage in elaboration. So first, there needs to be enough information within the message in order to facilitate a thorough analysis of the argument within the message. If the information simply isn't there, then the recipient of the message isn't going to be able to process the information on the central route. And second, the recipient needs to be willing to engage with the information on the central route. It takes a lot of mental capacity in order to engage in central route persuasion, and so the recipient of the information needs to be willing to put that work in. When a recipient is on the central route, they use evaluation, recall, critical judgment, and inferential thinking in order to process the message. In other words, the recipient carefully examines the ideas within the message, determines the merit of those ideas, and weighs the consequences of acting or not acting upon the message. So, as you can see, it takes a lot of brain work in order to process a message on the central route. If a message is relevant, well-informed, and convincing, then it is much more likely that the recipient is going to respond positively to that message. And this is true even if the message contradicts the person's original beliefs. So you can see in the visual aid here, this is an advertisement for an Android phone, specifically the Galaxy S3. And it's listing all of the benefits of switching to the Galaxy S3 when compared to the iPhone 5. For example, it lists a bunch of different features that the iPhone simply doesn't have, like group chat, direct calling, tilt to zoom, shake to update, removable battery, all sorts of different features that the iPhone simply doesn't have. And the tagline on this advertisement reads, "It doesn't take a genius," playing off of the Genius bar that is found in most Apple stores where you can go for technical help. And so this advertisement is trying to demonstrate that there are so many more benefits to having a Galaxy phone as opposed to an iPhone, and that it doesn't take a genius to recognize that. And so if I was someone who owned an iPhone and I saw this message, I might be persuaded by the fact that it has all of these additional features that the iPhone simply doesn't have, even if I believed previously that the iPhone was the best phone out there. This message might be enough to persuade me. Let's take it back to the example that we talked about earlier with Julie and Sarah. Of these two women, Julie was processing the message on the central route. If you'll recall, Julie was looking at things like the gas mileage and the safety features of the car, as opposed to superficial things like the color and the shape of the car. And so because her decision to respond to the message is backed by a very thorough analysis of the facts surrounding that car, she's going to continue to find that car beneficial and a good investment for the long term.